Hey everyone, welcome to an exceptionally late episode of Just in the Nick of Crime. You know that if I am on this late, let me adjust my camera there. If you know that if I'm on this late, that there's a reason, and it's probably going to piss you off. And this one is definitely going to make you angry. Here's what I'm going to tell you before I get started on this. I'm going to issue a massive trigger warning for this. Okay? We are talking about very young child essay tonight. A victim who is still very, very young who came forward. And the court system incredibly failed her. So, what I'm going to tell you guys on this, I didn't have time to give this and I'll do more of these shows. I'll give you more information. I'm probably going to have the victim, or I should say survivor's father, on. But I was going to try to do this earlier today, but all the Epstein emails that came out today, I was like, well, this is going to foreshadow this. And then I had some conversations tonight. I was reached out to, not only have I been talking to the survivor's father, but then somebody who used to work with this individual, whose name, by the way, is Richard Lee, Leigh, Richard Lee Bell, shared some information with me that angered me to my core. All right. I need the energy that you guys brought to Jesse Mack Butler to this guy. Now, if you're watching on TikTok, you cannot see the photo that I'm showing. I've got one photo that I'm showing tonight. I don't think I've actually done a post on TikTok about this. I've done a still on Insta and Facebook, but that's it. If you want to jump over to YouTube, it is the same name that is on all my platforms. It's Just in the Nick of Crime. You can get to it by going to the link in my bio. And if you came in late or can't stay for the whole time of this, you can definitely go check it out later. It will be up on YouTube and saved there from here on out. And if you do go there, of course, if you're on YouTube, it's new for you. Make sure to hit that follow button, or to subscribe, like it, make sure that notifications are on, all that kind of good stuff. Subscribe. That's what they call it on YouTube. Subscribe, and do that wherever you're watching this. So I'm going to get into this. Okay. I'm going to come into this. Let me get my notes here, because there's a lot that has been told to me. I'm going to tell you that this guy got a plea deal, and it is one of the most disgusting, infuriating plea deals that I have ever heard. This guy had 9 felony child S charges. 9. And they were dropped. The charge was for a victim under the age of 14. So how old would you think they were? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? Try 2. And the abuse continued all the way till she was 7. And she's 9 now. 9. And she's left carrying the damage. And before you say that you think this is just, before I say, or you think that this is just another plea deal, let me tell you what her father told me. It is way, way worse. And I need you guys to understand the severity of what we're going to talk about, because this is heinous. All right. And you're going to understand why I'm angry, and you're going to be angry too. Let me tell you the original 9 charges. There was continuous SA of a child under the age of 14. 6 counts of aggravated SA of a child. 2 counts of indecency with a child. These are charges, people, that normally put the person who does it, the perpetrator, away for the rest of their life. And here's the thing. This was not some kind of a misunderstanding, as sometimes these predators like to call it. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was repeated abuse over and over. This is a guy who said a 2-year-old came on to him. Let that sink in. Okay? A 2-year-old came on to him. And this plea deal took all 9 felonies away. They are gone. He got to plead guilty to 1 count of injury to a child. He got a 5-year sentence, deferred, probation only. Yes, he does have to register as an offender. But because it's all deferred adjudication, he stays out of trouble. He walks away without a conviction. Basically, what the system is telling him is that he hurt a child in the most horrific way possible. And he walks free. That is what the system is telling him. Hurt a child, walk free. And they're telling this little girl, your pain doesn't matter. You're not as important as him. What happened to you is irrelevant. You don't matter. Right? Now here, let me make you a little angrier. Well, let me give you a little backstory. So the little girl starts, this is a family. Dad lives, in Texas. He's living in Virginia at one point. So there's some separation there. He doesn't have custody, while, all this is going on. And daughter's over at his house and she's getting, a little older. So he starts having the conversations with her, probably around 7-ish, maybe 8-ish, about good touch, bad touch. Come to me and daddy will make sure it's right. And she sits there and she says she understands, but she doesn't say anything because this guy groomed her and told her all the bad things that would happen if she told, right? All the bad things that would happen. But she didn't. She kept it to herself. And at 9 years old, she comes to her dad and she says, Daddy, I have something to tell you and it's going to make you mad. And she goes, I already know about sex. And at first he thinks, well, she's got an older sister, that's approaching that teenager. And maybe she heard it from her. And I'm like, oh, did so-and-so tell you? And he goes, no, I heard it from Rick. And his dad's heart sank because he knew. And I'm going to tell you, he shared details with me that I will not share with y'all that make me physically nauseous. Okay. And make me really kind of want to cry and be emotional. And I'm not going to. But this little girl thought that this was normal. That this was the way things were supposed to be. And of course, once this happened, Dad springs into action. He's heartbroken, obviously, like any father would. Right? Now, before I go more into that, I want to tell you what else I was told by the dad when it comes to this court and this plea deal. He was not consulted. The father told me that he wasn't included in this conversation at all. He walked in expecting real punishment, real justice, even if it was going to be a plea deal, years at a minimum. Instead, he was told, this is your first and last offer. You can take it or leave it. Basically, they told the dad that you can either accept us moving forward with this plea deal or nothing at all. And he can just leave here today. That's what they told him. And he was blindsided. Now, I want you to put yourself in this position. Imagine being this child's parent and learning that the man who hurt your daughter will not spend a single solitary day. Oh, he's texting me. He's listening. He objected. He objected to it as well. And that's what they told him. So since you are listening, if I did anything else I get wrong or I left out, make sure to text me and let me know. I got your thing pulled up. But I want to highlight, because he's told me about his little girl who's 9 now, and she sounds remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Her bravery, she needs credit for that, right? We give credit where credit's due. She walked in trembling when she told her dad. She stood up, she spoke, and she faced the truth. She is 9, and she showed more courage than the entire justice system. She did her job. This dad did his job. Texas didn't do theirs. Let me give you some more devastating details while we're at it. Her father found a note in her room that said, I want to die. She told him that she felt like he broke her brain, that she didn't feel normal. She didn't feel safe. She didn't feel equipped to be in this world. That is what this person did to this kid. This is what this type of trauma does to a child. And the court still said probation was lifted. Did you know? You didn't know because I didn't tell you. But this little girl walked into court. She said she wanted to go, that she had words, that she wanted to say something to him, and she didn't really even have the chance. She wanted to be there when he was sentenced, and he didn't get sentenced. All right? Now, the dad told me that she started confessing to tiny, harmless things like chewing on a piece of rubber and then breaking down in tears. She felt like she had to confess something because she carried guilt that didn't belong to her, and her father had to tell her, "You're trying to empty a bucket of guilt that's not yours." She was punishing herself for a grown man's crime, blaming herself for what this monster did to her. Okay? Her father immediately got her into therapy at the Center for Child Protection. He enrolled her with Bikers Against Child Abuse, and they were apparently incredibly amazing to her. 50 bikes rode out to stand with her, protect her, and empower her. They assigned primaries who would show up with her for her at any time she needed it. She had more protection from bikers than she did from the judicial system in Travis County, Texas. Now, this girl, and I need to be better about this too, she refuses to call herself a victim, and she isn't. She's a survivor, right? She's a survivor. She stood taller after Bikers Against Child Abuse, that ceremony that they gave her, than she did before the abuse. She said that a flame inside her, that she has a flame inside her that trauma couldn't extinguish. But just remember, guys, that healing doesn't mean hurt, right? She's 9. She's going to revisit this pain throughout the rest of her life. She's going to visit at 13, at 16, 20. The trauma grows with her. It grows with anybody who experiences it. You have to learn to deal with it. This is something that she was subjected to at the age of 2. Her entire life is going to know this. And the plea deal that this monster was given protects him, and it doesn't protect her. Here's the thing. People like this don't stop. You guys know this. They don't stop. He's going to reoffend. It's not when, but where. Or not if, it's when. And the question is where. And he knows because he watched what this man did to his child. Now, here's what I will tell you. Okay? I'm not going to go into a lot of details because it's not my detail at this point in time to give, but there is actually a second victim. From what I understand, the abuse on this second victim started around the age of 8, and it was the older sister, this little girl. People are asking who he was, and I should have clarified that, and I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. This guy, the relationship to the little girl, mom's boyfriend. Mom's boyfriend. That's who it was. Now, here's the thing. Texas keeps letting predators walk. My understanding, what I heard, for my Texans in here that are listening, hold on. I'm going to read what he just sent me real quick to a degree. I'm sure he doesn't mind because he said, I'm going to pause real quick and then I'm going to talk about Travis County in Texas. And for my Texans, you need to stay here. He said, I've had split custody of her for most of her life. This was happening unbounded to me for years, every half a week until him and my daughter's mother broke up. He left for Virginia. She came forward a year later. I believe that's because me and especially my fiance created a safe structured environment for her to be and for her to be safe. I think she came forward because she saw a contrast in her stepmother figure versus what Rick did. She saw that this is what a safe step parent's supposed to look like. So I think my fiance and I created a safe enough space for her to open up and know that things will be okay and that he was far enough away to where dad couldn't go crazy. All right. So that's what the dad just sent to me. And the dad's going to come on one of these evenings. We're going to arrange it. You guys will have plenty of notice. It won't be this last minute thing like this is. And I'm going to ask you guys, please share this live out, share out the YouTube, of course, make sure. And I will say this too. If this is making you angry, and I hope that it is because it's making me angry and you want things like this to end, when Jesse Mack Butler started, I created a petition to end plea deals for child predators, and the momentum on it has slowed. It is still growing. I want it at 100,000 followers as quickly as possible. It is linked in my bio if you are watching on Insta or TikTok. It is pinned to the top of my page on Facebook, and it is in the show notes of this show on YouTube. You can go down to it, click on it. It takes less than 2 seconds to sign it. We have the ear of lawmakers in like Oklahoma. I have contacts that know how to get legislation pushed through. This is not some other fall on blank ears petition. I am striving to get enough signatures to get in front of the right people to get it passed, because we also have midterms coming up. And I'm going to tell you what, anybody who can campaign on keeping children safe and actually putting their money where their mouth is, they're going to probably want to take a listen to this as well. So please take a moment to sign that. Okay. That's my shameless, not even a shameless plug. That is my plug. That is what I want you guys to do. I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for a signature. That is it. Okay. Takes you no time to do it. Now, Travis County is where I was at for my Texans. Travis County, Texas, which is Austin and the surrounding area, apparently has not put a child predator on trial in 9 years. They don't prosecute those cases. 9 years. 9. They haven't prosecuted a case for a child. Even one of the prosecutors, who claims that he's the director of child services, doesn't do it. Basically said, take it or leave it. This is what you get. This is what you get. For all those people coming in real late, real quick, because I know a lot of I'm kind of seeing some of the scrolling on TikTok as well. For all you guys who are coming in late, this is on YouTube. You can go watch it from the very beginning, and it's going to be saved there if you can't watch it tonight or whatever. So Texas keeps letting predators walk free. And it's not, here's the thing, it's not just Austin, because I know people love to make all this crap political, and it's not. It's everywhere. People are like, oh, Austin's like California, a Democratic city. Well, first of all, I have very few cases that get plea deals like this, especially like this out of California. Usually they're a lot harsher. But Oklahoma, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. Florida's getting a little better. See them all the time. All right. Outside of Houston, Texas, you guys might remember me talking about 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham. That guy was caught in bed with a 9-year-old girl taking her pants off. He got to plead down to enticing a child, which was a misdemeanor, no offender list. And the next victim, because there is always a next victim, lost her life, and she was 11. That was Texas also. Okay. Deferred adjudication is a loophole that predators rely on because victims aren't included. Parents aren't informed. Prosecutors drop the worst charges because it's convenient, because they don't want to do the effing work. Let's call it what it is. Prosecutors, I'm going to tell y'all something that I have learned in doing this over the last few years. Most prosecutors don't care. They care about having a W or an L in their corner, and they want W's. And guess what? Even if this guy walks free, he pled guilty to a charge, that is a W. That is a win. That is a, hey, we can boast and say, we got this conviction. Doesn't matter if the conviction, the punishment didn't fit the crime. That didn't matter at all. It just mattered that they got a win. All right. For people asking about where the petition, no, it is nationwide. We're not going to pigeonhole it to one state, because kids in all states need to be protected. So no matter where you are, hell, if you're not in the United States, you can still sign it. Doesn't matter. Go sign it. Linked in my bio. Please, every signature helps. Believe me. Send it to somebody. Make the men in your life sign it, because that has been one of my biggest challenges. And I will try not to get on that soapbox tonight, that men have a real problem standing up for this kind of stuff when push comes to shove. Say that as a man. Okay. But like I said, victims aren't included. Parents aren't informed. Prosecutors drop the worst charges because it's easier for them to do so than for them to actually put the work in and convict this person, even if the evidence is there. We sign a neat little plea deal, wrap it up in a bow, send them on their way. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he offends again. He's going back to Virginia, which is where he's at, by the way. So for those of y'all who are in Lexington, Virginia, he's in your area now, just so you're aware. Goes back to Lexington, Virginia. It's not Texas's problem. They don't care. They got to win. All right. But a child's life sentence becomes a predator's probation. Right? I want to say that again. A child's life sentence. Oh, yeah. And you're right. This guy didn't even have he had a public defender, by the way. A child gets a life sentence for what was done to them. and this predator gets probation. Okay? Now, this guy, like I said, I've been told a lot of information about this stuff. This guy's apparently a conspiracy theorist. I learned that he, little things like fun conspiracies, like we never landed on the moon. That's a fun conspiracy. I could subscribe to that one. To the Jews and the government and taking over, to anti-Semitic remarks, to very white supremacist type of remarks, to some, the god Plea. The guy's name, for those of y'all, it is Richard Lee Bell. Again, for those of y'all coming in late, we are live on YouTube, and you can go watch that YouTube and catch up from the very beginning as well for anything that you missed. Richard Lee Bell, and his picture's up there as well. And there will be some shorter versions of this tomorrow that we get into, and there's going to be more. We're going to get these, but I need you, and I'm going to say this again. We need this. We need it. Need this to be a situation where Richard Lee Bell is as well known as Jesse Mack Butler. I need this to happen. Okay. This is my first night talking about it. There's been a couple little things happen in the paper. I'm going to be reaching out. I've already reached out to Pascal, Dan. There's also a Facebook group about this. It's linked in the show notes on YouTube as well. You can join the Facebook group about this. But Missing in USA knows about it. I'm going to be bringing it up to Abby Blabby, to Julie. Julie, I forget Julie's handle. I just know her as Julie. I forget her handle at the moment. And several other creators, Steph, just several others that we're gonna try to get involved to talk about this. Okay. This man should not be walking. We're talking about a 2-year-old is a baby. And he has the audacity to say that this girl, this child, this 2-year-old from the ages of 2 to 7, when he committed this abuse against her, that she came on to him. Right? Somebody asks the mom, no. I don't know. I don't see how she couldn't know. I don't see how she couldn't know. I really don't. I'm not going to make any accusations because I don't have evidence of that, but I don't see how she couldn't know. Yes, it started at 2. At 2. And went till she was 7. Again, remember, there's at least one more victim. All right. So I also heard tonight, which was very interesting because it mirrors a lot of what the dad told me, and I shared this with the father as well, but somebody who used to work with him came out. Apparently, when he left his job, because he had to go for a few days to Texas to deal with this because he was extradited, he told his work that this had to do something with his ex-wife and some stolen tools. That's why he was going down there. Now, prior to this, he said that when he first started working for this company, he was normal enough. He was good at his job, whatever, pleasant, charismatic, whatever. And then he started to get weird and deep. He started to become very inappropriate with customers, with younger girls that would come into this business. Would become very inappropriate. They would start getting complaints. But when he went to Texas to deal with this, I guess I don't know what all I think that they found out that it was, the charge was a child under the age of 14. They assumed that it was 14. I let them know that it was not 14. But that's what he told them, trying to basically give his side of the story. He called after he got convicted and the charge was there, that he was trying to give his side of the story, that he was being set up, that the family, in fact, let me pull my notes up. I'll tell you exactly what was said. I have to guess. Here, I'll give you guys, I'm reading to you. He said that what he told his employers was that he had a follow-up case that should end everything, but 5 days after his departure, he received his conviction, and I think conviction's is a strong term, conviction. His employment was immediately terminated, but only after they had found out that multiple people had messaged the business, and that's how they found out to begin with. He said Richard Lee Bell joined the business in April of this year. He started off as a hard, dedicated worker, but slowly progressed into making lewd and disgusting remarks about the women who came into our business. He would often make remarks, especially about the younger college girls, that would come in. This eventually devolved into him talking about conspiracies, which initially started as like the typical moon landing is fake, all the way to how the Holocaust isn't real and how Jews control the world. He would often make remarks about the Aryan race, which led to his delusional speakings of being related to Nordic gods such as Freya. He would often talk about how the government was watching him. A few months into his employment, he talked about having to go to Texas to deal with a court case involving his ex-wife and stolen tool equipment. And today he called the manager of this company, to give his side. He is claiming that the victim, are a bunch of crazy people who are after him, and that he was able to receive only probation because, quote, the court knew it was a bullshit case, but they still had to appease people and not disgrace the DA. That is what he said. So when you talk about accountability, guys, there is no accountability. This guy didn't, in his mind, I think that he truly believes. I don't know this guy. I've never had a conversation, but it sounds like he is off his rocker, and maybe he truly believes some of this. You know, I heard something last night, and I had never thought about this before, and I'm going to share it with y'all. Did you know that that crimes like this against children is the only crime you can't justify or excuse? Right? Like if you take somebody's life, it could be self-defense. If you steal something, it could be because you really need it or you had an emergency. Right? Right? You rob a bank, could be the same thing. You know, there's always a justification that there could be another reason why you're doing it, but there is no justifiable reason to do these types of crimes against children. Right? None. It's not a reason. There's none. The only one. And people like this they reoffend. They're always going to reoffend. Right? When you're grooming 2-year-olds, you're grooming 8-year-olds. You're going to do it again. You're going to become more depraved. He'll find some other victim, some other woman to take him in. Right? I mean, look at Jen Soto, Madeline Soto's mom. There's no way she didn't know. And I don't know if this mom knew or not. I don't, as a parent, I don't know how you don't know if it's happening under your roof. I really don't. Guys, I am sick about this. And like I said, I've got details that I'm not going to share, that were shared with me, because they were that horrific. And maybe when the dad comes on, he'll choose to share them. I know this. Here's a sign. Apparently, she had been doing really well with potty training, and she had to go back to diapers all of a sudden. That's one of the signs. That's a sign. It's a sign. I need, like I said, guys, I need y'all, for this little girl's sake. Right? She's a strong kid, from what the dad has told me. She needs an army behind her, just like Jesse Mack Butler's victims. She needs this guy needs to not be able to escape accountability in the same way Jesse Butler did. Oh. There were CPS calls too, and CPS didn't investigate. They did nothing. There were CPS calls. They did nothing as well. Are we surprised? Nine years Travis County hasn't prosecuted a case like this. 9 years. I don't know what's going on in Austin, but you guys need an investigation. If there is a lawmaker in Austin that one of y'all knows, I can get them in touch with me. I would love to have them start looking into this the same way J.J. Humphrey is in Oklahoma. Because this can't continue. This 9 years. In fact, do me this favor too, God. I think I'm going to immediately regret saying this. If you, because you know, here's the thing. Like, you guys might not know this, but I hate covering these cases. Like these ones right here, I lose sleep over these. These ones stay with me. They affect my health. They affect my mental well-being. But what I told this father tonight is, and before, is that I'm not the one who had to live it, and I'm not the one that had to experience it because it was my child. So the least I can do is listen and get your story out there, right? And so that's why I do it. I don't like doing it. I hate it. So again, I'm going to probably immediately regret this. But if you have been screwed over by the Travis County court system because of child abuse, whether it was your child or you at a younger age, reach out to me, just in the nick of crime at gmail.com. And let's see if we can maybe figure out getting somebody. I think that somebody needs to do some investigation in Travis County, and somebody needs to pull there needs to be a grand jury indictment on these people. This is not, y'all. This is not okay. Because the abuse happened between 2 and 7, right? You let somebody who abused a 2-year-old walk away, right? Messaging. Oh, here we go. Yeah, and I just got resistance too. The public defender's office for Travis County as a whole. And I'm going to repeat this. I told this earlier. I'm going to repeat it again. Travis defender's office as a whole for all of Travis County hasn't taken a case like this to trial in 9 years. Right? 9 years. Now, you know what? Somebody on YouTube just said something really interesting. I'm going to pin your comment. This is a really interesting comment. It almost looks like it could be a national manipulation of crime statistics. I don't know about national because there are places that take this very seriously. You know, I give Tennessee a lot of flack. I live in Tennessee, and I give it a lot of flack. Like, you don't want to go missing in this state. Like, if you're Sebastian Rogers, Summer Wells, or a myriad of other people, don't go missing in Tennessee. They will not find you. But if they catch you being like one of these people, they will prosecute you. 100%. Right? I've seen it in California, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York. I'm not gonna say Virginia, but because I know where that case is going. Florida's gotten really. Louisiana's been phenomenal. Louisiana will castrate your ass. You know, but it's not. It's the change has to start somewhere. And here's the thing. Like, we know that this stuff happens, right? Like, we know we're aware. We see the news. A lot of y'all, sadly, people watching this were probably had your own experience, your own story. Most women, unfortunately, do. A lot of women, I don't say most, but more than a fair share. And depending on how old you are, you might be from a generation that was told to sweep it under the rug to keep the peace. Well, we don't do that anymore. But the court system sure acts like we still do that. And the thing about social media is we can hold a lot more people accountable. Like, I feel very confident that Judge Susan Worthington in Stillwater, Oklahoma, probably hates me a lot. Right? I want the prosecutors in Texas to hate me. I want I'm tired. It's late. I can't remember the name. But I think it's Lorena Garcia's one, and then Efrain. Is it Efrain? They'll correct me. Efrain de la Fuente. Is that correct? They'll correct me if I'm wrong. I want them to hate me too, and they can't hate me, guys. They can't hate me if we don't get this out there and we don't expose them. Leah, I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you for sharing, but I'm sorry to hear that. Efrain de la Fuente, I got it right. I remembered. They told me I was right. Yeah, you got it. I should get a shirt that says Judge Worthington hates me. I need these people to hate me. You know what? You guys, well, if you're on TikTok, you can't see it. For those of y'all on YouTube, you guys want to see let me show y'all what they look like. I'm going to show y'all what they look like. Because I want their faces out there, and I can show you real quick. Let's take this ugly piece of trash down for a moment. Like, where's my share? There we go. Present or invite. Here we go. Image file. Okay. There we go. That is Efrain de la Fuente. Let me see if I can get this pulled up too. De la Fuente. I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all something. Why do you not want to load on me? All right, here we go. What I wanted. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Okay. I'm gonna show y'all this. Okay, this is the guy. If you're on TikTok, you can jump over if you want to see him. Let me share my screen real quick. I'm gonna show y'all this. Share screen. This. In fact, I'm gonna even make myself small, make him big, so you can really see this. All right, let me take myself out of this, put this in full mode. All right. So if you can read this, again, if you're on TikTok, you need to jump over to YouTube. What does it say he is? He is the director of the child abuse unit. Efrain de la Fuente devoted his career to the service of others and began his prosecution career with Travis County District Attorney's Office in 1998. Efrain de la Fuente is the director of the Child Abuse Division. He has served as an assistant director for the Special Victims Unit and Trial Division. He served in the Army as an officer and in the Judge Advocate, JAGs, basically as a JAG officer. He advised commanders and investigators on criminal justice matters and later served as a defense counsel defending soldiers accused of criminal offenses. He's a graduate of St. Mary's University and Drake University Law School. Right? This is him. This is what he looks like, guys. This is what he looks like. But he's not the only one. All right? He's not the only one. All right, let me get you the other one. Yeah. I don't have much information on this woman. She doesn't have a whole page dedicated to that. Let me get her pulled up here. Let me go take this down. Hold on, remove, add, bam. There we go. That right there is Lorena Garcia. Okay. So Lorena Garcia is also a prosecutor in this case. She doesn't have a big page like Efrain does. You know, yeah. So you guys need to know their faces, and I need these people to hate me. I need these people to know who I am, and know that I am the cause of all their pain and suffering that is to come. That's what I need. And I can't do that again without y'all. Without you guys sharing this story out there, without you guys, being enraged and infuriated and demanding some type of real justice. Right? Because we're not going to get it at this point from the court system, at least. But we can make him internationally known. That's what we did with Jesse Butler. And I can tell you right now, that family is really not happy with me. The extended family loves me. The direct Butler family, Jackie and Jesse and Mac, they're not fans of me. All right, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Sorry. What else? And the dad and the stepmom are grateful for hearing you guys be there and be supportive. Butlers don't count. No, here's the thing. They do count people that don't like me, and I want them to not like me. The thing is, here's the thing. If you are a child predator, and I don't care if you are a child like Jesse. Jesse is a problem. We're going to be talking about Jesse in the future after he ends somebody's life, right? But I want you, if you support, you enable, you let them walk free. I want you to, believe me, I'm okay with you not liking me. I'm fine. In fact, I want you. And I want you to be worried if I'm coming for you. And now I'm coming for these people and I'm coming for this guy. And I don't have it without you guys. So there you go. There you go. I don't know what else to say about this. What questions? There's a protest coming up still. What about this particular case? What questions do you have? I will answer them. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, I can pin them. Well, it's not even the judge so much in this case. It's as much as it is the prosecutor. I mean, yeah, the judge. Yeah, the judge ultimately signs off on it. And I haven't gotten a lot in the way of like information on the judge. I will. I know they're listening. So yeah, with this particular case, the case about Richard Lee Bell, what questions do you have? If you came in late, this is on YouTube. You can go watch it. Nobody? No questions? Do we have the judge's name? For the family that is watching, do we know the judge's name in your case? Are you comfortable sharing that? If so, they'll text it to me, and then I'll tell you. Good question. This is not a live about Luigi Mangione, so you can ask me that on a different time. Well, here's the thing. How old is he? He's 37. Great question. Previous criminal history. Do you guys know if there's a previous criminal history as well? Not that I've seen. I do know that there's another arrest. I do know that he had to be extradited. Oh, here's something that I didn't tell you. Texas, in addition to that, when they had all the evidence, dropped the ball on extradition. Virginia was ready to like lock him up and send him off. But Texas, this prosecutor's office forgot to get the judge to sign off on it. And they had to fight. They had to fight to get a judge to finally sign off on it so they could extradite him back to Virginia, basically for them to say that, hey, you get probation. So thank you for bringing that up. Who is he living with now? I don't know who he's living with. I know that he went back to Lexington, Virginia. I know they went back to Lexington, Virginia. Here's what I want to say, and I want to say, because look, you guys who are in here asking questions, I so appreciate you guys. Even if it's not about this case, I appreciate you asking. But here's what I want to say when we're talking about. I know some of y'all are just coming in. When we're talking about a case, especially a case like this, right? And we have a victim as young as what we're talking about with this situation. The focus needs to be on that victim, that survivor, in her story at this point, right? There is time and a place to talk about the things. Believe me, I will give it to you. I always do. But right now, this is about this little girl, Richard Lee Bell, and the fact that he walked free. Hold on, I just got something. That's the judge. Oh, you guys are going to be mad. Okay, hold on. It's always worse in this situation. Thank you for sending it. Do we know about a previous criminal history while we're at it? All right. You guys want to see the judge? Again, if you're on TikTok, you won't see it. You're going to be like, why can't I see it? That is the judge. The Honorable Juji, is it Kosarek? Honorable Julie Kosarek. That is the judge. That is the judge. Apparently, she buried her head fully in her hands at one point during the dad's allocation, his statements. The judges don't have to sign off on this, you know. God, it's like, I mean, little kids, a little kid. Why did he get off? Because Texas didn't want to do their. I mean, honestly, I'm answering this honestly. The answer isn't, and I'm not like taking this as a cheap answer. I promise. Because Texas didn't want to do their job. They have not brought a case like this to trial in 9 years. They don't believe there was any criminal history before this, but he was in the Navy. No, you can't try me. Yeah, this is Texas. That's the judge right there. Her name's up there on the screen for those of y'all who want to walk over. I don't know if she's got kids or not, but So Bonkers has said, sorry, I'm new here. So no apology necessary. As far as the Butler case goes, believe me, you will have an update on Butler tomorrow. I can promise you that. There will be a Butler update tomorrow. I promise. Because I spoke to the family, some of Jesse's family today. And you are going to definitely want to know what we have to say. And if you think, and I will say this real quick off topic. If you think you don't like Jackie Butler, Jesse's mom now, you just wait. You just wait. Wasn't the judge for Butler woman too? Yes. Yes. I just, like I said, I don't typically go on live this late, but I got reached out to by a former coworker of Richard Lee Bell. And then I had another discussion with the little girl's dad tonight. And I just got too angry to not do this tonight. Too upset, too angry. Y'all, I have a little girl. You know, I'm a girl dad. And not that should make a difference, the gender of my kid, but like I don't get it. I don't understand. My daughter's 6. And you know, it's things like this. I'm gonna put this guy's picture back up. It's things like this. This is why justice gets taken into their own hands. You know, like that dad in Arkansas who shot his daughter's abuser. They had an EPO, a protective order against him, and he still came and got him. He found him in the car, called the police. You know, like he shot and ended that guy's life. And I have no problem with that. So then he gets in trouble, right, for murder. He gets in trouble for murder, and he's running for sheriff now. Yeah, Aaron Spencer, thank you. I was blanking on the name. It's late, guys, and I'm tired. But yeah, Aaron Spencer. This is why people become vigilantes. This is why people because this isn't justice. This guy walking free, this guy calling his work, taking no accountability, saying that this little girl came on to him between the ages of 2 and 7. She forced herself on him. I kid you not, that is what he said. I kid you not. Now, I will say this for a minute. Okay? If you came in late, because I see a lot of people asking questions, if you were jump over to YouTube or you're watching on YouTube, you can rewind it to the beginning and you can see this whole thing. There's a lot to this, guys. There's a lot to this. And y'all need to know. And I need y'all angry. And I need y'all to sign the petition. And I need you to get his face out there everywhere. And tomorrow I will do a shorter version of this. Tomorrow I will make sure that I have static posts for Instagram and Facebook for those of y'all watching there. Oh, I forgot to tell Instagram to go live. Darn it. That's on me. Here's the thing. I want to say this too. I said this to the dad. Okay. And I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm going to say here. Okay. Let's just say for a moment, and some far off fantasy of people like this guy, a young girl, obviously not 2 to 7, but let's say a 15 or 16-year-old girl came on to you and you're an adult. Let's just say that happened. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's exceedingly rare. But let's say that it happened. Well, your job as an adult then is to say no, because you're the adult, right? There's that power dynamic, you know? You say no. Now, do I believe that a 2-year-old from the age of 2 to 7 that this girl came on to him? No. In fact, I can tell you for sure that she said that she told her dad that she knew that it felt wrong and she didn't like it. Right? Which is what you would expect from a child that young. And for him to then sit there after what he did and try to blame the child, that when I heard, I mean, there's a few things I heard tonight, but that's one of the things that set me off. That this monster of a human being is blaming the child. The child, guys, the child's 9 now. She's 9 now. I don't know. I just the thing is, I don't know how much more to say on this, but at the same time, I don't want to sign off because this is so important. I want more people to come in and see it and ask questions. I'm very, very, very upset. And I'm not going to be able to go to sleep. So, is he a family member of the girl? He was mom's boyfriend. He was mom's boyfriend. That's how he had access. And as I mentioned earlier, for people who are coming in later, who might have or whatever mid sentence, and if you're watching this on the replay, I'm sorry if it's a repeat. There is another victim. There is another girl. There was another girl in the house, a little older. From what I understand, her abuse started at 8. Right. So this not only is this a predator, this is a predator going after little kids. Just getting here. Sorry, did I hear you say a 2-year-old came on to him? What I said was he said the 2-year-old came on to him. But these are little kids. 2 years old's a baby. You're still in diapers for the most part at 2 years old. That is a baby. There's nothing attractive about that. And if you think that there is something like you have I don't know. I don't think there's any type of help that you can get to fix that. But like you got to do something because that's not okay. Like that kind of attraction, that's seriously messed up. Somebody asked where the petition. So if you guys are just getting here asking where a petition is there, so depending on where you're watching, if you want to sign the petition to end plea deals for child predators, so people like this monster of a human being don't get to walk free. It's linked in my bio on TikTok and Insta. It's also in the show notes. So if you're watching on YouTube and you go to the description on here and you read down, it's the petition link should be twice in the description. Some Texas Paranormal said I have to rewatch. I think you should rewatch for all the details. But what I will tell you is he got nothing. They dropped 9 horrific charges against him. Let him plead to 1. He got a 5-year deferred sentence. He got probation. That's what he got. He does have to register as an offender, though. So there is that. There is that. But if you did come in late, I encourage you to watch it because you really not that you want to hear because you don't want to hear these details, but you need to hear the details. Like because it's going to make you mad and I need y'all mad because if y'all aren't mad, like I'm mad, I need y'all screaming into the void with me. I do. I need that. Like because we can't get things done if we don't have that. Right? Public outrage is what got Jesse Butler the accountability through the media that he has and I need the same public outrage for this. I really do. I really do. Did he have a public defender? He did have a public defender. Yes. You and me both, Haley. Haley said, I'm having a really hard time understanding the prosecution's logic. Me too. This right here, though, again, this is why people take matters into their own hands. Well, that's why I said most. Yeah, my daughter was still very much in diapers at 2. I agree. When I took my friend's daughter in to make a report, the officer said that they often have a preferred age. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Like, the thing is, we always hear about taking a village, right? Like, it takes a village. I don't know how, Candace, I don't know how it was allowed either. I really do. I wish I had a better answer. But we hear it takes a village, right? And a village is supposed to protect children, right? You're supposed to keep children safe. Like that's what you do as a society. You're supposed to have. You shouldn't need laws. We have laws for a reason, but you shouldn't need laws to protect children. That should just be something that we inherently do. And look, and I realize that men are. I mean, and look, I don't need this. Well, women do it too. Yes, I'm aware of that. There was a story today, actually, of a woman. Well, I mean, there's always another teacher having a relationship with a student. There was also a woman that got sentenced for 41 years after serving her students cupcakes that were laced with her husband's, you know. So I realize that there are women predators, and that's not me to sit here and say whatever. Okay. But what I am going to say is that the bulk of offenders, like when you look at this, it's something like 65% of offenders against children are white males, just like me, right? My beard's not that terrible. That's a terrible beard. I keep it closer. But that's what my point is. Like, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that's not a fact. It's a very uncomfortable fact for me to sit here and say that. I don't like saying it, but the reality is the reality. And just because it makes me uncomfortable doesn't mean that it's not factual, right? That's a fact. There's a study that the Child Light Institute at oh my God, what was the University of Edinburgh did, where they surveyed men from America, from the US, the UK, across the UK, Australia, I think Canada, and it came out that like basically like 1 in 7 men admitted, or was it 7? 1 in 7? I think it was 1 in 7 men admitted that if they could SA a child and get away with it, they would. So the numbers are high, right? The numbers are high. And that right there, my friend, is why we don't have a village. But at the same time, one thing that I've noticed, and this is really in the last week or so, is that men also don't call out other men. So I make it a point that I'm going to call out other men. My friend Dan does. Gabby Petito's parents call out other men when they make inappropriate comments, right? That's what we have to do. Because here's what you have. Women, ladies, you guys have been screaming it from the rooftops forever. Literally forever. Nicole Neese, I'm going to come back to what you said in a second. Nicole said it's even sicker that there are monsters who SA babies younger than 2. Yes, let me come back to that in a moment. Don't let me forget. But I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the bottom line is that men don't cause it. Like with the petition that we have, I can see the names of signature stuff. It's very few men who are signing it, right? When the protest happened for Jesse Mack Butler, a lot of boys, teenage boys, came to that protest to support the girls, the victims, but not a lot of men. And so men who want to sit here and a lot of us like to pretend to be the protectors and talk a big game, but when push comes to shove and it's time to show up, they don't. And when you're talking about men that need to be called out, if you're a woman and you call them out, they don't care because they don't respect women. They don't care about women. Your opinion doesn't value them. So it takes other people calling them out to do it. And Jim Schmidt told me a story. He's actually told it on one of these lives at one point. It's been a while. Jim Schmidt is Gabby Petito's bonus dad, or aka stepdad. He was on a cruise with his daughters, and he has a 16-year-old daughter. And these guys, married man, had a ring with his friend. I think they were playing pool or something, made an inappropriate comment towards this 16-year-old daughter. And Jim turned around and said something and called him on it, made him apologize to his daughter because apparently it was a very vulgar comment. I don't know the details. I don't want to know the details. But then Jim turned on the friends that were with him and said, "You two heard what he said, that she's a teenager. You see that he's married, and you guys said nothing. You're just as bad as he is." And that's what needs to happen. I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but I did. It's a problem. Somebody asked, did the child's mom know anything about it? I don't know that to be a fact, but I can't imagine not. Now, Nicole, I want to bring this up because I do want to talk about this, even though this is not this particular case. I mentioned South Carolina, but I think that it's relevant still because of who this person was. So the comment is what's even sicker is that there have been monsters who SA babies younger than 2. There was a judge in South Carolina. You might have heard me talk about him, Judge James Gosnell Jr. And Judge Gosnell was caught purchasing CSAM, child S abuse material. We don't call it the word that rhymes with corn because corn sounds consensual, right? And obviously, when that kind of stuff doesn't happen, there's no consent at all with it, right? So he gets arrested because he purchases. They delve into it, and what they find is that they have CSAM going back to the era of VHS tapes, right? That's how long he's been doing it. He's a judge in South Carolina, a judge. Okay, and not only that, he had a show, like a little Zoom that he would put on to teach other predators how to do what they did and get away with it. He also was in a relationship with a man who they were planning to travel to Florida to abuse an infant. He admitted to police that he has SA'd a 3-month-old and a 5-month-old. This judge is in his like 70s. So they've already made a plea deal. Can they recharge him? No. Double jeopardy. So the biggest thing that we can do for this little girl to get justice and for this little girl to know that there is an army behind her is to support her family that cares, and get this guy's face out there everywhere. So that's what we need to do. That's what we have to do. We have to do that. This is a 9-year-old girl, guys. If there was a time to show up, it's now. If there's a time to show up, it's now. Somebody said feds tried to recharge Epstein. That's different because when you had state charges versus fed charges, that's different, and there could be new additional evidence. That's what can be different with the feds. So for example, in this particular case, and this goes with Jesse Butler, I believe that there could be federal charges against Jesse Butler. I think that there's enough things there that could make it where there's federal charges, especially with him recording the strangulation and with some of the images he had on his device. That's a story for a different day. I asked the dad, do we know if this happened out of state? Because if it did, immediately, let's call the FBI. Let's get the feds involved. I don't think in this case that there is a situation where, that's kind of where that's at. And I'm angry. Has the older sister brought charges against him? That's going to be a discussion for a different day. I don't have the authority to speak much more on that right now. So Glinda, please stay tuned. I will give you that information when I can. Miss Ali DiCaprio says, I'm not changing subject. This is for YouTube only, guys. I'm not feeling this video format unless it's just me that's seeing it like this. No, so we now have the ability on YouTube to stream in both vertical and horizontal fashion. So depending on where you're watching, it will depend on how they're doing it. So if you're watching like on a computer or whatever, depending on how the way the app is, you can watch on vertical or horizontal. And I can tell by the icon they put next to you that you're watching vertically. Hey, find my email. My email is justinthenickofcrime, my handle at gmail.com. I'm exhausted talking about this, and I'm exhausted that this girl had to go through this, and we're going to make sure. And I know this was a late live, and I appreciate we've had the numbers in both lives have been pretty good, and I appreciate y'all sticking around. I'm going to try to go to bed and get some sleep. I appreciate you guys. Please sign the petition linked in the bio, linked in my bio here, linked in the show notes. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're watching and you're new here, please hit that follow button, that subscribe button, hit the like button, make sure notifications are on so you know when I go live. TikTok, I need help there too because TikTok hates me lately and they are heavily suppressing my content. But the next thing that I'll say to you guys is that there's more information coming. I will be giving more of it tomorrow. This is kind of just a real here's the initial, let's deep dive into this. I'll probably do another one of these when I can put more pictures up and have a little bit more organization. But this is what we got tonight. I had to get on here. I had to say something. I had to do this. So yeah. You guys, thank you all so much. Please share this far and wide. Share this guy's picture. This picture is on my Instagram as well. You can go steal right off of it, take it, screenshot it. Richard Leibel, Leigh. You can search it. Share his name everywhere. His charges everywhere. Let's make him infamous, guys. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.